Games map. 9 apps. 1. Games. Klok. Brood. Hellhunter antinomen. Liggend. Hellhunter antinomen. Gebied voor directe aanraking.
Hellhunter. Anti-nomen. Move among. New game. Load game. You have reached Hidden Cave. Torture chamber. Saving point. You saved the game. Needles. On a chair there are many metal needles. They are about 15 centimeters long. Tub. It contains some water. There's a sponge inside. Electric chair. It looks like a custom model. Since there are no wires, the battery must be included. Elian is restricted and his limbs are blocked. He can only actually move his head. A few moments later, the door opens. A woman enters the chamber. It must be the same that Elian saw before fainting the second time. She's tall, beautiful. Her long scarlet hair sways with each step. Her blue eyes stand out due to the contrast with her hair. She gets close and leans toward Elian. Then she slowly makes a big smile and shows her teeth on purpose. There's no doubt. She's a vampire. His reaction is not the one she expected, so she tells him that she's surprised, as it looks like Elian has already seen a vampire. She introduces herself. She is Deus and asks his name, but Elian won't answer her question. He wants to know why she restrained him and where they are. Deus starts to laugh and tells Elian that where they are is not important. Why she's doing this, he will know that very, very soon. Deus adds that if he's shy and doesn't want to say his name, that's no problem. They will have a lot of time to get to know each other better. But the time to chat is over, and, as Elian tries to reply, she immediately applies to his mouth a wooden bite with leather, which laces up behind his neck. Elian gets angry, but he can only moan. Words won't come out. A sick smile comes across her face. Now it's time to start. Deus explains what she's going to do and describes the properties of the electric chair. The voltage is regulated in a way so it's not deadly, as she wants to play with Elian. Now she finally activates the electricity. Elian starts to spasm as if he's having convulsions and screams like hell. Elian will have to resist the torture. He cannot attack Deus or drink blood vials, so he must focus on his defense. Get ready for a harsh trial. Double tap to continue. Many hours later, when the electric chair is turned off, the torture finally ends. But that's not how the torture has continued in the meantime. With her long leather gloves, which are part of her dress, she slowly removes the metal needles which were embedded between his fingers and nails. The blood keeps coming out as he suffers tremendously. Elian clearly sees Deus chuckling and licking her red lips tastefully during the process. In the end, she meticulously cleans the needles. Then she gently caresses his hair while she compliments him for resisting, and finally removes from Elian's mouth the bite, which is covered in drool. He doesn't even have the strength to say something. Before leaving, she wishes sweet dreams to Elian. They will play again tomorrow. Then she closes the door. Now he's alone in the room. Tub. Ceiling. Needles. Walls. Saving point. You saved the game. Walls. Elian looks around. The walls don't have an opening, not even a small window. He's not able to determine whether it's day or night. Needles. When the needles came into play, he never felt such intense pain before. He also fainted many times, but Deus definitely was not in a hurry. The worst part was when she turned the electric chair on again, while the metal needles were still embedded in his body. He doesn't want to remember that. He can't even close his hands. Ceiling. Unlike the ground, which is polished, the ceiling is clearly one of a natural cave. Tub. If Elian thought for a moment that after all he could bear the electricity somehow, then he had to change his mind when she wet him with the sponge. Electric chair. Door. There's a closed door on the other side of the chamber. It looks quite heavy, and it's made of metal. Lever. Elian wonders what that lever does, but judging from the tools inside the chamber, it probably can't be a good thing. Saving point. You saved the game. Walls. Needles. Ceiling. Tub. Electric chair. Door. Electric chair. Elian collapses into a long sleep, or so he thinks, because he suddenly gets woken up by a tub of water. Deus returned. He doesn't know how much he slept, but since she had time to change the tools in the room, his sleep must have been really deep. Even the electric chair has been removed. Instead, his body lies on the floor and is restricted by chains fixed on the wall nearby. She actually even took his shirt and jacket. She greets Elian and asks for forgiveness as she made him wait so long. Deus was enchanted while staring at the wounds she caused him yesterday. But what surprised her the most was how fast they regenerated. She tells Elian that he is clearly not a human, but Deus has never heard of him among the vampires. She kneels before him and softly puts her hands on his cheeks, and with the right thumb she lifts his upper lip. His teeth confirm that Elian is not a vampire. Deus asks him if he's a Dampier. Elian won't answer, but she smiles and chuckles as if she knew the answer already. With an impulse of anger, he tries to bite her hand and to grab her with his hands, but the chains won't allow that. Deus swiftly dodges the bite, and, without changing her expression, she punches his face. The impact smashes him violently against the wall. Even though she's a vampire, Elian didn't expect such a strength. She must be a high-born vampire. There's a chance that actually she wouldn't even need to block his movements to prevail against Elian. Still, he doesn't understand why she's living here. Vampires are used to luxurious manors or castles, but it looks like she lives in a cave instead. There's one more thing that she wants to know. The scar, the one on his chest caused by Dracula. Her fingers slowly slip along the scar, and she can't help but comment how perfect that cut is. Not only that, she can even see Elian's captured essence of Dampier. Deus also says that even his true name has been stolen. Without any doubt, she can tell for sure that this is Dracula's doing. Deus says that Dracula surely knows how to play with his friends, but she likes a more direct approach. Anyway, she's disappointed that Dracula arrived before her. So she will start with Elian's back. He wants to know more about what she just said, but Deus interrupts him, telling that if he must bark that much, then he should do it while wearing a collar. So she applies a red collar on his neck against his will. Then finally she puts an eye mask on him. With his ears, Elian can hear Deus going out of the room, and some minutes later returning. He can smell the scent of candles and something that makes him turn pale. Boiling oil. Deus is amused as she watches his reaction and gets close to Elian to make him smell the tools that will be used today better. She touches her lips to his left ear, and whispers that now they will have a lot of fun. Without sight, her voice seems even deeper than usual. And so Deus starts. The boiling wax is poured on Elian's back. It's time to resist another torture. Double tap to continue. Many hours later, the room smells of burnt hair and skin. Deus kisses him on the head and bestows more compliments on Elian. She removes the eye mask, but not the collar. She asks him to wait a bit. She has a prize for Elian. Saying that, Deus exits the chamber and returns later with some cooked rice and water. But they are served inside a couple of bowls. That's too much. She leans and pets Elian while smiling and tells him to eat everything. Then she goes outside, leaving the door ajar. Bowls, oil, ice, candles, saving point. You saved the game. Candles. On the tray there were candles, but not even an ounce of wax has been spared. Ice. Inside the bucket there's still some ice. It has been applied on Elian's back after the torture, but it was just a mere palliative. Oil. That small pot was filled with boiling oil. When Deus poured it on his back, the wax melted like ice, and the skin burnt as if it was lava. Horrendous burns cover the whole surface. Even if tomorrow they will disappear like nothing happened. Bowls. The rice really looks delicious. The scent. But Elian's pride cannot allow him to eat like a dog, so this is actually torture in disguise. Chains. Elian must find some useful information before sleeping. Open door. Deus left the door ajar, maybe to make the burnt smell go away. But this is a chance for Elian. He closes his eyes and focuses on the smell that comes from the outside. There's a strange scent. It's like the scent of some chemical. Elian thinks that it means there's a lab or something behind that door. Lever. Elian wonders what that lever does, but judging from the tools inside the chamber, it probably can't be a good thing. Saving point. You save candles, ice, oil, bowls, chains. Elian must find some useful information. Bowls. Elian wants to verify something. He gets close to the bowl with the rice inside and smells it. The salt scent is very intense. That can't be some cheap salt bought somewhere. It resembles the smell of the sea. That rice must be cooked with actual rock salt, which must be nearby. Although Elian won't eat like a dog, he's behaving like one of them to gather some clues. How humiliating. Oil. That small pot was filled with ice. Inside the bucket there's candles. On the tray there were candles, but not even an ounce of wax has been spared. Save candle, oil, bowls, chains. Elian will sleep on the floor, and since his back hurts too much, he will have to stay in a prone position, like a dog. This time Elian wakes up on his own, but the first thing he sees are the blue eyes of Deus, which were staring at him for a long time, while sitting in a chair. She wishes him good morning, and asks him if he slept well. He ignores the question, but can't help noticing that this time Deus has moved him to a different position of the room while sleeping. Now he's standing while bound to a wooden cross structure. His limbs are all tied to the four corners of the structure. Elian shouts at her and wants to know just what the hell she wants to know from him, and to stop playing around. A grin appears on her face. Actually, she really doesn't want to know anything from him. There's no purpose in all of this. Deus is doing this for her own pleasure. Actually, she says, while she suddenly puts in Elian's mouth a metallic sphere with holes and buckles up the leather strap connected to it. There's something that she has always desired from him. A taste of his blood. Elian's blood chills hearing that, but he can't do anything. Deus slowly gets closer with her usual sick smile, actually even more sick, and gently hugs him. Her right arm encircles his back. Her left hand slowly slips from his left shoulder to the neck, and finally onto his hair. And lastly she sinks her teeth between Elian's left shoulder and neck. Elian's blood keeps being drained, and he loses strength as well. That moment never seems to end. Deus is literally in ecstasy. She even lets a moan escape. Then Deus goes back. She's a bit embarrassed about her reaction. Deus says that she has never tasted such delicious blood. Then she quickly returns to normal. Now that she has satisfied her curiosity, Deus is ready to start. But before that, she injects something into Elian with a syringe. Then she turns around and leans to get something from the chair. A whip. Once again, Elian has to resist the daily torture. Double tap to continue. It lasts for many hours, but at a certain point, Deus stops. She wants to punish Elian for not having eaten the rice, but, according to what she says, today she went easy on him since she drank more blood from him than expected. She gets a sponge and washes Elian's upper body of all the blood that drips from the countless wounds she has caused, and doesn't miss the chance to compliment him. Finally, Deus removes the restraint from Elian's mouth and leaves him alone. Bowl, syringe, whip, salt, saving point, salt. When she started to apply the salt to the wounds, she really enjoyed Elian's grimaces of pain. Saving point. You saved the salt. Whip. The one used today. She definitely knows how to use a whip. Syringe. There's a syringe on the table. Its contents have been completely injected into Elian's body. Bowls. The bowls are out of Elian's reach. It's not like he wanted to eat. Still, his stomach growls tell another story. Wooden cross structure. Elian noticed that something's wrong. He's not recovering as usual. He must figure out the reason. Door. The door is closed. Lever. Elian wonders what that lever does, but judging from the tools inside the saving point. Salt. When she started to apply the salt to the wound, whip. The one used today. She definitely knows how. Syringe. That syringe. Before starting, she injected something into Elian. From that moment, his regeneration stopped working. Could it be a drug? Whip. Would she really use a drug? Elian, looking at the whip, thinks of Deus. He saw her face. Her eyes sparkle when she inflicts pain on him. Her expression. Doing that kind of stuff gives her pleasure. A pleasure that Elian would dare to define sexual. She's sadistic without any doubt. With drugs she wouldn't achieve the same result she obtains with constriction, and if his perception would be hindered or altered, this whole thing wouldn't even make sense. For her, at least. It must be something else. Elian will try to figure it out next time. It's time to sleep. Syringe. Bowls. Wooden cross structure. Despite the position, Elian tries to get some sleep. He wakes up. He didn't sleep well, and the wounds are still visible. Deus is always there. The tools are already changed, and Elian has been placed elsewhere, again near to the bowls, but restrained with wooden shackles, which are very uncomfortable. This time Deus doesn't waste time, and already has a syringe in her hand. Elian focuses on it. It really looks like water. He tries to smell the scent. It's a familiar scent. It's holy water. That's ridiculous. But Deus knows what she's doing. Even if Dampiers don't feel any pain from it, their powers are weakened. If directly injected, their powers are blocked. Then she picks a case. She kneels next to Elian and opens the case in front of him. It's full of metal tools with various kinds of shapes. He barely knows half of them, but he knows that they are used for torture. Deus smiles at him and asks Elian which one he likes the most. She picks some of them and turns towards him. The torture is going to start. Prepare to resist. Double tap to continue. This time it seemed endless. Elian is covered in blood, Deus as well. His blood, of course. A pool of blood is under their knees. This time Elian faints sooner than expected. He's half conscious. His eyes are closed, but he can hear somehow. After a while he hears the steps of Deus in a hurry. She gets close and makes him drink something. It's blood. That makes Elian feel good, even if he's still worn out. He gets lifted from Deus and she puts his head onto her thighs. They are warm. Both Elian and Deus are still there, in the pool of blood. She spends quite some time with him, caressing his hair and watching over him, in silence. After some time, Elian wakes up. The stain of blood is still nearby, but his body is clean, even if full of wounds. Making a sudden movement, he feels a lot of pain. The torture has been tremendous. He looks around. Deus is gone. He's still very tired, so it's probably best to sleep more. But not before searching for some other clue. Bow, blood, wooden shack, group of syringe, saving point. You saved the game. Group of syringes. They all contained holy water. Wooden shackles. There's something that Elian wants to check before getting some sleep. There's something that... Blood. The pool of Elian's blood. A detail comes to his mind. Even Deus was covered in his blood, while the holy water was flowing inside his body. Since his blood was contaminated with it, then she would have to suffer from it. But rather it had the opposite effect, according to her expression. The only possible explanation is that she's wearing his holy symbol somewhere. Bowls. The rice is still there. Now it's almost spoiled. Yet it's still tempting enough for Elian, given his condition. Metal tools. Even the tools are clean and sterilized. Some hours ago they were covered in Elian's blood. Door. The door is closed. Lever. Elian wonders what that lever does, but judging from the tools inside the chamber, it probably can't be a good thing. Saving point. Group of syringes. This time Deus used a lot of them. Even the torture lasted longer than the other one. It could mean that the effect of holy water doesn't last many hours. Elian thinks that she can't have an unlimited stock of holy water. Deus must probably go outside the cave to gather more of it, and, at this rate, that time will be very soon. Elian can go to sleep now. Saving point. You saved the game. Group wooden shackles. Elian is ready to sleep. The shackles are quite bulky and force him to sleep on his side. After some time he wakes up. Deus is not there. Some time passes and still no one arrives. Even the tools and the items inside the room are the same Elian saw before sleeping. Did she actually run out of holy water? After some more time, the door finally opens. A woman enters the chamber, and she is... Amelia? Elian can't believe his eyes. She's relieved and greets Elian. She quickly kneels next to him and unlocks the shackles. She tells him that no one was inside the cave, but she found the keys and went here to check. Since he's imprisoned here, she assumes that there should be even one jailer, so she tells Elian to save the talk for later. Now is the time to run away before the vampire returns. The others are waiting outside. Elian is getting up slowly, so she helps him, holding his arm on her shoulder, and they slowly proceed together as fast as they can. Blood. Bowls. Metal tool. To the chemistry lab. Lever. To the chemistry. As Elian suspected, there's a lab here with many substances and tools, even the ones used for torture and restraint. Elian wonders where his equipment is, but the fear the vampire might return is strong enough to make him desist from wasting time searching. You have reached Hidden Cave, Chemistry Lab. Tools. There are many tools used in chemistry on some table. In many points of the room, it's possible to find tools related to her favorite activities. Their maintenance is extremely accurate. Bookshelf. Many of the treated themes inside the books meet Elian's expectations. Science, physics, imprisonment, and torture. There's also actually some books about art. Many of the treated wardrobe. Elian's equipment could be here, but he really doesn't want to waste any time to escape before Deus returns. Pantry. There's the food and the ingredients. There's also a space dedicated to ingredients used for chemistry. The salt and the sugar are placed in this space. To the entrance. Finally, the light of the sky is visible in the path. Elian has almost made it. The woman stops suddenly. What's the matter? You have reached Hidden Light. There's the ambient light, the typical smell of the sea, and the sound of the waves. Amelia, to the cliff path. To the chemistry lab. Light. To the cliff path. She stopped. Before leaving the cave, it's best to check what's the matter with her. Amelia. Elian turns toward her to ask what's wrong. What he sees is an amused expression of Amelia's, who suddenly grabs him and violently slams him into the ground as she starts to laugh non-stop. Her voice and her looks are beginning to distort. That was an illusion. Actually, she was Deus in disguise. She just wanted to make fun of him. She immediately restrains him again and drags him back to the torture chamber, as Elian screams in anger and desperation. Deus is still laughing while she restrains Elian with the chains of the room. She says that watching a light turning on inside his eyes, just to make it disappear at the climax, was simply priceless. The whole performance was totally worth the effort. Elian doesn't immediately understand what Deus means by performance. She chuckles as she sees his expression. She goes behind Elian and pushes him against the floor. Then she sits on his back. From that position, she leans her mouth near to his ear and whispers to him that what she means is that she placed clue after clue, day after day, a flow of information in such a way that Elian would think that he could have a chance to escape. She points toward the syringes and tells him that it was just bait. She still has a lot of them, and actually she really doesn't need holy water to play with him. It was just an experiment to see the effects of holy water on a Dhampir for torture purposes. She's also a scientist after all, as he could see in the other room. It almost seems like Deus is able to read Elian's thoughts, and that's exactly what she whispers to him. Her power has the capability to read the rational thoughts of intelligent creatures. She says that she already knows everything about him, about Amelia, the crew, and she tells him that no one will come to save him, and he will never escape from here. Finally, Deus calls him by name. Elian. He has no word to say. He just lies there, with his face on the ground. She reaches with her arm into the case of metal tools and picks some of them. Just for starters, she wants to play a bit with his back. Then they will start with the daily program. Will the torture ever end? Elian must get ready to resist now. Double tap to continue. After a while, she's satisfied and gets up from Elian. He realizes that he was just dancing in the palm of her hand. He's lost any hope of escaping from here. Deus kneels with both knees on the floor and lifts Elian. Both her hands hold his lower jaw. Both her thumbs are placed at the corners of his mouth. She's looking him straight in the eyes. Deus tells Elian that he doesn't have to worry. Not everything was a performance. Words and rational thoughts have no value. All that really counts are feelings and desires, which is exactly what she can't see with her powers. Her voice wavers slightly. Deus tells Elian that this is what she really wants to know. She wants to know Elian, who he really is, his feelings, his desires, the real Elian. Deus stops to speak. There's a long silence in the room. She lowers her arms, that slowly lie above her knees. Then she gets closer to Elian. Her mouth is once more next to his ear, and then, with a timid voice, she says to Elian, "Please, tell me who you really are." Elian listens to Deus. She's different. Her neck is a few centimeters from his mouth. Swipe left to bite. Swipe right to not bite. Driven by mere instinct, suddenly he bites the neck of Deus. This is something that she can't see with her powers. Elian starts to suck her blood greedily. She gives off a jolt. His energy quickly returns, actually even more so. With sudden force, Elian breaks the chains. He stands up with Deus. He won't stop sucking her blood. It's too delicious. A bloodlust frenzy from inside dominates his thoughts and his actions. In his excitement, he lifts her, holding her back with the left arm and her left leg with the other hand, and leans Deus against the wall on the other side. As Elian keeps draining her blood, she hugs him with all her strength, rather than trying to fight him. She's filled with joy. She says that it's such a magnificent answer. So this is what's inside him. His true colors. She accepts him with all her being and begs him to do the same with her. She adds that he will be her prisoner forever. Saying that, Deus leans her lips towards the space between his neck and his left shoulder and marks it with a passionate bite. With her last strength, she pulls the lever next to her. A pit opens in the ground, and Deus drags Elian with her inside the pit. It is a long fall in the dark. Elian suddenly returns to normal and feels the body of Deus tightly holding him, as if to protect Elian from the fall. But this place is really too dark. The first thing that comes into his mind is a place of which he just heard about, the so-called Caves of the Abyss. A huge system of caves in which darkness dominates everything. A place in which there's no way to see anything, in which there's no life inside it, and where any conventional method of orientation fails. A terrible place, in other words, even if no one who entered inside it ever returned. Elian is preparing for the worst. He's without his equipment, yet he can count on the excess blood that he sucked from Deus. He managed to transfer it into 3 blood vials, right before his greedy and unknown side would absorb it completely inside the body. Aside from that, he will have to count on his claws and fangs. After a long fall, Elian lands on a pile of something. Bones. It didn't hurt much thanks to Deus. Her corpse lies in Elian's arms and turns into ash. She had the holy symbol, just as he thought. He takes it and wears it as a necklace. This place is so dark that there's no way to get one's bearings inside it with your eyes. Elian barely stands up on his feet, and suddenly a familiar voice starts to whisper in his ear. It's her! Deus! But Elian is absolutely sure she's dead. He must be having some kind of a hallucination. There are other voices in the distance. The place is probably populated by monsters. You have reached Cave of the Abyss. Pile of bones. Saving point. You saved the game. West exit. Saving point. You opened the life point. 100% life point. Experience point. Elian reached level 5. 2,609. Inventory. You opened the inventory page. 1 sack. 1 rope. A hemp rope. 1 axe. The typical 1 leather sheath. 1 jack key. 1 knight key. 1 queen key. 1 king key. Water canal key. It's an anon 1 torch. 1 rusty key. 1 holy symbol. 3 blood vial. 1 holy symbol. 3 blood vial. Nothing. You opened the menu page. Instructions. Game progress. Battle back. Alert sound. Quit game. Hell Hunter. Anti-Nomen. Move among the options. Credits. Load credit. Exit game.
Staand. Hellhunter anti-nomen. Logo overig. Open lucht. Muziekmap. Batterij 57% opgeladen. Bedieningspaneel. Vliegtuig. Rekenmachine. Timer. Rekencamera. Energie. Hoortoestellen. Geselecteerd. Schermopname.